Hello, Fabulous Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of July 2017. Looking at life and love. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. Well, this month, in the first part of the month, we've got a full moon taking place, and this full moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friends and groups that you belong to. Now, this is a particularly dramatic full moon, I must admit. It is happening hand in hand with Pluto and standing across the sky from the Sun and Mars as well. And this represents a lot of truth, a lot of passion, a lot of heightened emotions and heightened energy as well. So for some of you, you are going to experience this in the context of a friendship where you're going to be seeing that other person very differently than you have before. This could be a friend either coming through for you in a very big way and facilitating some profound transformation for you. But this can also be a transformation that happens because a friend provides the catalyst by demonstrating something of whether it's who you no longer are or really who you don't want in your life. So I'm sorry to say this, but as I look at this symbol, it's a full moon, and it's suggesting very strongly with Pluto, with Mars, of things really being stirred very deep within you and strong emotions coming up and possibly some discomfort as well. That's not going to play out for all of you out there, but for a small percentage of you out there, it could be an uncomfortable moment with a friend that has to happen so that it facilitates much more meaningful and sweeping changes in your life. And that's kind of how life works sometimes. Sometimes life needs you to be very honest with yourself about a situation that is less than ideal so that you can start moving yourself towards more ideal circumstances. This full moon can also play out in the context of your relationship to a particular group, where it is that you come to understand that your part in a group, either it has served its purpose in your life or your understanding of your part in that group and group of people goes through a transformation as well. It may be challenging again, but this is about getting to what's real and getting to what's real about yourself. When you change, everything changes. And if you go through a transformation, then the circumstances that you surround yourself with must change as well. And if that means a certain collective or a certain group or your membership or role within a certain group has to transform, then it will. And if it means that that role has to become much stronger, or you need to choose which group or circle is actually better for you and your future and your life and your happiness, then that's what will happen as well. But remember, this can be some very strong emotions, as I said. Strive not to take things too personally, especially if it's in the context of a professional type of organization. And also remember one other thing, and I'm very much the belief of this, is that the universe is abundant. The universe is abundant. And where it seems that one person or one opportunity or one set of circumstances leaves, you may think there's nothing else like that, or that's the pinnacle of things. But the truth is, there's always more opportunities, and there's always more love. There are always more people to meet and more friends and more camaraderie to be had. I'm not saying that this is necessarily going to happen, but I do want you to be mindful that if feelings do come up for you, if your truth leads you in directions that is telling you to make a change, then trust that. Trust the changes that need to be made. For some of you, as I said, as much as this is things coming full circle and closing with a certain group, for others of you out there, this could be understanding how there is one circle that you're moving away from, but one that actually is a force of good and positive change in your life, and you find yourself gravitating in that direction. And that can be a really beautiful thing as well. Now, where it comes to the matters of love, particularly at this full moon, I do think they're going to be emphasized for you. And I do think that this full moon does suggest how mixing friends and love could get messy, could get messy really quick. So I would be a little bit careful of that. If your friend wants to set you up with somebody to go out on a date with, maybe don't accept in the early part of the month. because things could get complicated there, very complicated. So no matter how persistent they are, if you can hold off on that date, it'll probably be to your advantage, or at least the advantage of the friendship itself. This can also be very powerful in terms of understanding where it is that your love is going to be in terms of your partnership in an established bond, and where it is that your circle of friends is going to be, how much you want that together or how much you want that apart. I would also say this can be a time when a friend declares some very strong feelings for you. This could lend itself to a very passionate moment, but things can get messy after that. I'm sorry to say, as much as sometimes, yes, it's great, a friend can grow into so much more. We see that happen every day. But there are times where an impulsive moment can end up complicating things, or we don't see the complications in the moment. So if you can, pace yourself. However, if you don't, that's okay too. Ultimately, it's all part of your sacred learning. You can see where it is and how it is that your intuition guiding your action, where it is that it leads you. Now, as we get to the second part of the month, this is where things really start getting interesting, because it really is the precursor to even bigger changes coming up in August. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it then, but August is eclipse season. Eclipses bring us into alignment with a higher, more loving vision for our life. And you've got here a new moon happening in the same part of the sky, in the same sign, as an eclipse is going to happen a month later, in the month of August. So this does represent a very important moment where, if you strive to be aware, if you strive to be intuitive, you will know which way the universe is leading you. And that way you can readily align yourself with it or open yourself to it. And that will actually be that much more to your advantage. The more conscious you are of allowing the universe to lead the way, the more it is that the universe doesn't have to dramatically bring you back into alignment, because you're already living in alignment. I'm reminded, if I may say, many, many years ago, I remember I took magic classes. I did that, yes. As part of my spiritual learnings and experiments and growing, I met all kinds of spiritual teachers, some mentors still in my life. But I remember, as part of that learning, I remember I took a magic class. I took a class with a lovely person who tried to teach something about manifestation and about aligning yourself with the universe, with Earth. And I remember her saying to me that this was the thing that really stood out. Like every course you take, really, there's always that one thing that stands out that forever changes you. And I remember her saying that the reason that people, they do all these rituals and things, and is really to ultimately be in alignment, to be back in alignment, to sort of bring all the elements together so that you force an alignment, or a realignment rather, with the direction that you're meant to go in, which is a direction of greater love, greater wisdom, greater prosperity, all the good things of life that happen when you allow life to flow through you rather than force yourself upon life. But the point of magic ultimately is not so that you're doing rituals and you're, bringing together everything and finding the right timing and all that. Ultimately, the point is that you are living in alignment, that you are so in alignment that there's no longer any need to do a ritual. There's no longer any need to sort of, force the universe to bring you back into something, or to allow something to flow through you. You don't have to make that concerted effort, because it is something that is naturally just part of your being. And this always stood out to me as what magic really is. Magic really is about living in alignment. And so as I look at the sky, and particularly as I look at what is coming up for you in the bigger picture in April, as I look at what is happening with this particular new moon in the second part of the month, it is about being in alignment and realizing where you are or where you aren't, so that you can align yourself. It'll be gentle, especially this month. It's gentle, it's subtle, but it can be no less profound and allow that universe to flow through you that much easier when we get to the eclipse next month. So this new moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the workplace, the work you're doing. It has to do with the clients you serve, your coworkers, sometimes your immediate supervisors as well. And it has to do with your daily rituals. So talking about ritual, right? Your daily rituals, the little things you do every day to affirm a state of well-being. This is where the universe is going to start to show you what it is that you really want to do, what it is that's really going to feel like you are using your days well, that your days are touched by the sacred, that you are living more in alignment with your daily life and daily habits and daily routines and the workplace you go to and the type of work that you're doing, the assignments you have. How are you interacting with the people around you? Are you able to recognize the clients, the coworkers, the immediate supervisors? Do you recognize them as karmic contacts and karmic contracts or not? This is the beginning of that very awareness, because right now, and especially with the North Node moving through the sign of this particular area of the sky, you will be spending a little while, I'll be here as we go along, but you'll be spending the next while really recognizing how it is the clients, the coworkers that are karmic contacts, that they aren't there by accident, and ultimately they're there to help you to understand some very deep soul learning and to put you in alignment with that higher vision for your life. It's subtle now. Soon it will be very fast. It will take on a will of its own. So listen to life now, and it'll only lead you in good directions. What I love about this month for you is that in some ways emotions are strong, and in other ways the emotions are a little bit quieter. The intuitions are a little bit subtler, but all of it ultimately is leading you in a very positive direction. A life that feels more in alignment, and a life where you are constantly aware of just how blessed you truly are. Well, thank you so much for watching. You can get a video just like this each and every week by logging on to astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com and signing up to be one of my superstars. Superstars get instant access to exclusive, expanded videos just like this each and every week. Every week you get a dose of love and wisdom and inspiration and all kinds of good things. So I look forward to meeting you in the superstar space at nadiyashah.com or astrofabulous.com. It'll be a great month. Enjoy.